Hello everyone, and welcome to my Sister Wives For You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Christine Brown and David Woolley's shocking divorce has sent ripples through the Sister Wives universe and beyond, leaving fans stunned, confused, and heartbroken over a romance that once seemed like the ultimate fairy tale ending to Christine's decades of pain and disillusionment in her marriage to Kody Brown, because when Christine first introduced David to the world, her smile radiated differently, her confidence soared, and her fans celebrated her new chapter filled with independence, genuine love, and the kind of partnership she never seemed to receive during her years in the plural marriage. But now the headlines scream, "Love lost forever," and whispers of betrayal, disconnection, and irreconcilable differences have begun to replace the celebratory cheers, and the woman once branded as the ultimate escapee from Kody's oppressive grip is facing another heartbreak. This time from the man who is supposed to be her happily ever after, yet in true Sister Wives fashion. The divorce is wrapped in layers of drama, speculation, and unanswered questions, because what truly went wrong between Christine and David, the man she affectionately called my king and praised endlessly on social media, the man she said made her feel like a queen after years of being overlooked in a family where Kody's attention centered on Robin, and the man who seemed to adore her daughters and provide the stable father figure energy that her kids had been craving for so long, especially after witnessing their mom's struggles in a plural household where love was rationed, respect was conditional, and equality was never practiced the way it was promised. And yet here we are, scrolling through news feeds plastered with speculation of arguments behind closed doors, disagreements about finances, tension over Christine's growing media presence, and rumors that David, despite his once affectionate and playful posts, grew weary of the constant public attention that inevitably comes with being tied to one of the most infamous reality TV families, with fans asking if the pressure of Christine's reality TV fame ultimately eroded the foundation of their private love story, or if deeper, more personal issues emerged as the honeymoon phase faded, because Christine, who fought so hard to reclaim her self-worth and independence after leaving Kody, likely expected her marriage to David to be her safe harbor. But as many know, blending lives, families, and expectations can be complicated, and the cameras that followed her through every messy fight with Kody, every tear-filled confessional about feeling unloved, and every moment of newfound joy with David may have also unintentionally magnified the cracks in their relationship, and perhaps the expectations of fans who crown them the ultimate success story after Christine's exit from polygamy also played a role, because when you are branded as the couple that proved true love exists after heartbreak, the pressure to maintain perfection can become suffocating, and now Christine faces a different kind of pain, not the familiar loneliness of being neglected by a husband who openly prioritized another wife, but the devastation of watching her supposed fresh start collapse before the world. And in this collapse lies a new narrative arc that Sister Wives followers can't stop dissecting. From Christine's cryptic Instagram captions about resilience, independence, and the importance of self-love, to David's sudden social media silence that only fans are interpreting as guilt, grief, or even relief, as theories swirl about whether he was truly ready to step into the role of Christine's new husband and father figure to her kids, or if he underestimated the scrutiny, the baggage, and the expectations that came with being the man who replaced Kody Brown, because no matter how deeply David may have loved Christine, the shadow of Kody loomed large, especially in the eyes of fans, tabloids, and even Christine's children, who adored David at first but may have also struggled with loyalty conflicts, emotional complexities, and the natural turbulence that arises when a new man takes on the patriarch role after decades of dysfunction. And as the divorce unfolds, fans are reminded that while Christine's journey has always been framed as one of triumph, empowerment, and reinvention, it is also one of vulnerability, risk, and heartbreak, because leaving Kody was not just about walking away from a man, but from a decades-long religious lifestyle, a complex family system, and a version of herself that was willing to settle for less. And stepping into her marriage with David symbolized her reclaiming joy, passion, and hope, But now her separation from him highlights that healing is never linear, and sometimes even those who seem to have conquered their past demons can still stumble into new heartbreaks. And so the story of Christine and David's shocking divorce is not just about love, lost, but about the brutal reality that not all second chances end in lifelong fairy tales, that sometimes even the most genuine-seeming bonds can unravel under the weight of reality, expectations, and differences. And for Christine, this unraveling will inevitably push her into another evolution of self, where she must once again face the world, not as a victim of Cody's neglect, not as a radiant newlywed basking in fresh love, but as a woman standing alone again, piecing together her strength, and proving that even when love is lost forever, life still demands resilience, reinvention, and the courage to keep moving forward. As the dust settles around the shocking news of Christine Brown and David Woolley's divorce, the conversation grows even louder, with fans, bloggers, and Sister Wives watchers dissecting every detail, every past Instagram caption, and every photo for clues that this seemingly perfect romance was unraveling long before the official announcement. Because while Christine's followers were quick to brand her marriage to David as the ultimate rebound success story, perhaps the reality behind closed doors was far more complex, layered, and turbulent than anyone could have imagined. And now, as Christine faces her second major heartbreak on a very public stage, comparisons to her past life with Cody Brown have reignited, with some viewers suggesting that Christine, despite finding the courage to walk away from polygamy, may have rushed too quickly into another marriage, hoping to fill the void of loneliness and prove to herself and to the world that she could find the love she always deserved. While others argue that Christine's boldness in following her heart should not be criticized, because love is always a gamble, and the willingness to risk it again after years of pain shows courage rather than recklessness. Yet either way, the collapse of her marriage to David is undeniably devastating, not just for Christine, but for the millions who rooted for her happy ending. And as the Sister Wives fandom spins theories, new details are beginning to emerge suggesting that disagreements over lifestyle, family dynamics, and even finances may have driven a wedge between Christine and David, with whispers that Christine's growing presence on social media and her TLC fame may have become a source of strain, since David, who lived a fairly private life before meeting her, may not have anticipated the unrelenting spotlight that came with being Christine Brown's husband, especially as fans treated him like the ultimate savior figure after years of Cody's neglect. And those expectations might have weighed heavily, because being compared to Cody was inevitable, and while at first it seemed to work in David's favor as Christine gushed about his affection and support, eventually that same comparison may have created pressure that no man could sustain, particularly if Christine unconsciously demanded constant reassurance that she was loved and prioritized, something she never received in her plural marriage. But the reality of everyday married life, with bills, responsibilities, and inevitable disagreements, may have clashed with the fantasy Christine had long built in her head of what true love would look like, and the disappointment of realizing that even her dream man could not shield her from normal relationship challenges may have been too heavy, leading to arguments that spiraled beyond repair. And then there is the issue of family, because Christine's 6 children had just begun to adjust to her new life with David, some of them expressing excitement about their mom finally being adored, while others quietly wrestled with loyalty conflicts toward Cody, and reports suggest that not all of Christine's kids bonded with David equally, which could have fueled household tension, especially if David felt unappreciated or if Christine felt torn between defending her children and defending her new husband. And in blended families, these conflicts can simmer until they explode, leaving both partners exhausted and resentful. And adding to the chaos are the whispers of financial disagreements, with some insiders claiming that Christine's income from Sister Wives, social media partnerships, and other ventures dwarfed David's contributions, sparking resentment on his side and stress on hers, because while love may not care about dollar amounts, money often magnifies hidden cracks, and the idea that Christine, once financially suffocated in her marriage to Cody, may have felt like she was once again carrying a disproportionate load is not far-fetched. And as the story unravels, the reactions online are split, with some devastated fans showering Christine with sympathy, praising her strength, and encouraging her to embrace this divorce as another stepping stone towards self-discovery, while others accuse her of moving too fast, too publicly, and too recklessly into a relationship she didn't take the time to nurture privately. And within this storm of opinions, Christine herself has been posting cryptic but empowering messages, hinting at resilience, gratitude for lessons learned, and the idea that even in heartbreak, she refuses to let her story be defined by loss, which only reinforces her brand as the woman who refuses to stay broken, no matter how many times life tries to knock her down. But behind the Instagram filters and confident captions, there must be nights of tears, loneliness, and regret, because for someone who risked everything to leave a decades-long marriage, embraced a terrifying unknown, and boldly declared her new love as her forever, admitting that forever has ended must feel like a personal failure, even if fans and outsiders insist otherwise, and the ripple effect of this divorce on Sister Wives itself cannot be ignored, because TLC producers have already been teasing new chapters focused on Christine's post-Cody life, with David framed as a central figure in her happily ever after, yet now storylines will have to pivot, shifting from romance and new beginnings to heartbreak and resilience once again, which ironically mirrors the show's larger theme of broken relationships and evolving identities, and for Christine, the cameras may become both a curse and a blessing, documenting her pain for millions, but also offering her a platform to control her narrative and remind everyone that she will not be defined by yet another failed marriage, but instead by her willingness to keep trying, to keep loving, and to keep fighting for her happiness. And while some may say Christine should take time away from love to focus on herself, others believe she should not let this divorce scare her from pursuing another relationship when she's ready, because love lost forever with David does not mean love lost forever in her life, though the journey ahead will undoubtedly be filled with introspection, healing, and perhaps a newfound understanding that while external love is sweet, the deepest and most lasting love must come from within. And so, as fans continue to process the shocking collapse of Christine Brown and David Woolley's marriage, the story becomes bigger than two individuals. It becomes a cautionary tale about the complexities of second chances, the dangers of public expectations, and the resilience required to rise again when the world watches you stumble, because in Christine's heartbreak, viewers see both the fragility of human love and the unbreakable strength of a woman who refuses to stay down, and though her marriage may be over, her story is far from finished, because Christine Brown has proven time and again that even in the ashes of loss, she finds the spark to rebuild, reinvent, and rise stronger, leaving the world to wonder not whether she will heal, but how spectacularly she will transform this latest heartbreak into her next great triumph. And yet, as more layers peel back in the aftermath of Christine Brown and David Woolley's divorce, one thing becomes undeniably clear. The dream that fans had clung to of Christine finally living out a fairy tale love story has been shattered, and in its place is a sobering reminder that relationships, no matter how magical they appear in the beginning, require work, compromise, and mutual understanding. And perhaps in their rush to embrace the idea of true love after heartbreak, both Christine and David overlooked the fact that blending their lives so quickly would present challenges that no amount of affection or romantic Instagram posts could completely solve, because Christine had been basking in the glow of newfound freedom after decades of suppression in her plural marriage to Cody, while David had been living a much quieter life. And bringing those two very different worlds together under one roof may have been destined for conflict, especially as Christine's fame continued to rise and her identity became even more tied to her image as the empowered ex-wife who found joy again. And though David initially seemed comfortable in that role, the cracks suggest that he may have struggled with the constant public exposure, the endless comparisons to Cody, and the heavy expectations of being a stepfather and the partner to a woman still healing from deep emotional wounds. And so now, as Christine faces yet another turning point, her supporters believe she will take this moment to reflect, to regroup, and to redirect her energy toward herself and her children, while critics argue she may continue her cycle of rushing into love too quickly. But either way, her journey remains captivating because it reflects both the vulnerabilities and strengths of every person who has dared to start over, only to discover that even the bravest leaps into love can end in heartbreak.